Married 10 years. Wife cheating and confronted her. So I need some honest advice here. My wife and I married 10 years. Kids. Great relationship, and I would regard her as my best friend up to about 3 days ago. I had massive amount of data being used on my phone. Turned out to be an app. No big deal. However, when I pulled up the usage data, it automatically pulls up phone calls first. I see a 45-minute phone call at 2 a.m. in the morning to a number I don't know. So I look up the number and how many calls, how long, etc. Turns out there is 37 calls to this number. 25 of them after I have been asleep in bed. Many of them at 12:03, even 4 in the morning. I confronted her. She has a new great job with a very intelligent boss she envies and made this clear to me. I've always trusted her. All the calls were to her boss. He called only 3 or 4 times. She said everything they talked about was work related. Insisted on it over and over again. Despite this, I know some of the nights we had been having a few toddies. Weekends. She also lied to me 2 months ago when she said she went running by herself at 5:30 am. She did, but he ended up showing up and said he couldn't run that early. Not a big deal because she told me she was running with him, but she insisted when she got back that he never even showed up. So why lie about it? Really weird. I called her on it and she said she loves me and only has feelings for me. And she wouldn't destroy her career and his career by cheating. More emphasis on what she would lose than she loves me. He has a super fancy pants sports car and is married with kids himself. When he was on a business trip, my wife said he needed to text her updates of the conference. He ends up sending her a picture of a $750K car he is thinking about buying. She shows me, but still pretty weird that he is texting this to his employee, right? Aside from that, she removed texting from the iPad and her computer at home. She also changed the passwords on this account. I made her show me the messages to him. She had erased them all. So, now what? Was she having a physical affair too? She says absolutely not, it was all business related. I will say she is addicted to education and learning, and it would not be surprising to hear this. But the fact he was receptive to her calls in the middle of the night is messed up. Too long didn't read. I am an emotional roller coaster. My wife cheated by calling her boss late at night after I was asleep. She erased all messages to him. How do I know if she is telling the truth and it wasn't a physical affair as well? Update 1. 4 days after I found out we have been talking over the past few days, and arguing and whatnot. She insists she loves me, has only loved me, and will always only love me. That nothing physical ever happened. That the new job got her worked up. Someone could have died if she put the wrong thing in. And that she called him late one night because she needed to make sure what she did was right. That turned into several calls late at night. She admits to calling, but that she never emotionally cheated because it really was work related. She has zero feelings for him and their relationship has been and still is 100% professional only. Fair enough. I am reasonable. This seems reasonable. She willingly gave me her iPhone and said install spyware on it. I told her I will be recovering all of the messages and she said that is fine. So, maybe I am being over the top. But why? Erase them if it wasn't incriminating. She said she didn't think I would like it if I knew she was texting him. I said 1. Do you think I like finding out you erased all of the messages more? 2. If it was all professional, why would I care? She has apologized about 1 million times. Promises it will never happen again, but I cannot get over the erasing of the messages. It will be chilling to see if she erased these when I called her at work to ask her about the number. If she erased them right after I called, the messages will more than likely be incriminating. Too long didn't read. Her story is somewhat legit. However, it makes no sense to erase all of the messages on her phone if there was nothing to hide from me. Thanks to all for the advice so far. I love her, don't want to lose her, and don't want any of this to be happening. Thanks for your support and advice. Will update. Update 2. Sorry, not updated in a while. This sucks. So the texting continued to happen. The calls stopped. So over the course of the last 7 months, without getting into too much detail as this would go on forever, she continued to get texts from him. She got a couple from him asking if he can buy her lingerie and telling her how great her body is. She texted him back. She said don't test me. He said I'd love to test you. All night long. I saved everything. When this was occurring we still had a great relationship. Love yous. Kissing every morning. X. Then a few weeks ago they went to a conference together. She hung up on me when I called. Then immediately called him from her room to his room so it wouldn't be on phone records. Detail here, he called her from a cell phone not belonging to him so I wouldn't be able to track it. He shows up. Also, I have the entire audio of this. I listened when she got home. She ducking completely froze up. Couldn't believe what was happening and then I knew. Things got pretty hairy, no violence, just yelling and screaming. I left. She spent a couple days with kids at her parents'. She came back. Wants to work things out. Agreed to counseling. I am a ducking mess. Have no idea what to do. I love her. Believe she is my soulmate. She said that they both just ducked up and that here they were making things happen together and the adrenaline and rush of it all. Yada yada. But he is such a ducking predator. They still work together, albeit far less. What the duck do I do? He has said he has told his wife, but I've seen the messages and appears he didn't tell her everything, like the part where they have X, which is pretty clear on the audio. Too long didn't read. I have messages from the last 7 months of my wife's emotional infidelity and an audio recording of the fiasco affair, which she has told me and her parents that it was a duck up and happened only once. I could duck everybody up and destroy our marriages and their careers. I could try and work it out with my wife. She says she loves me, but is she worried that I will release audio to lawyer our his wife? What the duck do I do? You don't have any concrete evidence that they are having a physical affair. You have more than enough evidence to establish that they are having an emotional affair. She has sailed across the appropriate boundary lines in the context of a typical monogamous marriage. It is not appropriate for her to carry on for hours at a time via text and phone in the middle of the night with another man, even less so if she's lying about it and hiding it from you. She needs to get right. That starts with no more seeing him outside of work. No more personal texts or phone calls. If she is able to look for a new job, she should. She needs to be totally and proactively honest with you, and she needs to allow full transparency to her phone, email, and social media accounts. She may not have had X with him, but she has clearly violated your marital trust. You should both get to couples counseling immediately. Make it crystal clear to her that she has put your marriage in jeopardy, and that only a 100% commitment from her to get things back on track will save it. This is the only thing short of divorce that I'd find acceptable. If you want to go balls to the walls, a pie may not be a mistake, either. At a minimum, she is having an emotional affair. My bet is they are screwing. She is going to deny it to the end unless you catch her red-handed. If the calls were work-related, they could be made in front of you. Fact of the matter is she is calling him when you are asleep for a reason. She wouldn't destroy her career and his career by cheating. This is the most important thing on her mind. What would I do? This is a hard one because it can get messy real fast. If you confront him, they are just going to get better at hiding it. What about contacting his wife? My wife cheated on me with her boss. She also told me how great he was compared to her former boss. The only thing she ever confessed was to French kissing. That right there essentially told me it was most likely X. She was very much into him. They went on a 2-week work trip. I never knew for sure, but my gut feeling told me they were having X. Of course they were. She saw a photo on Facebook one time of him hiking with his wife, heaven forbid, and she broke down in tears. She was way whooped on him. I would end this. All this secrecy is covering what you already know in your gut anyways. Hang in there. Drop her like a bad habit. Second story. 41 meters. My wife 36F confirms she is leaving me on Christmas Day long. My wife recently told me she wasn't happy and wants out of our 6-year marriage. This was back on December 15th. We have 2 daughters, 2F and just about to turn 5F, that are the center of my universe. Although she denied having an affair at first, I found out on December 20th that she was after I grabbed her phone when she was in the washroom and didn't leave it locked. After I confronted her about this, we both broke down in tears, and she confessed it had been going on for a couple months, and would break it off the next day. I arranged for us to go to couples therapy, but because of the holidays and work, family visits, I couldn't get us in until December 30th. How this seems to have gotten started is I've basically never really been there for her. I wasn't abusive, but I didn't actively help out around the house, or with taking care of the kids. I never treated her more like my buddy instead of my partner. I never told her I loved her. I never consoled her when she had a crappy day. I never offered to hold her hand when we went for a walk. I guess I always figured being the primary provider, reading a bedtime story to our kids, and cleaning up after dinner every second night was enough. Since the moment she told me back on December 15th, I've done everything I can. I do all the laundry, give kids their bath, clean up every chance I get so she can sit down, give her hugs and tell her that I do love her, hold her hand whenever I can. Everything I should have been doing all along. I thought after confronting her about the affair, things were slowly improving. But I had suspicions she was just trying not to destroy me right on Christmas. And turns out I was right. I started questioning her on Christmas about her affair and our relationship again. And yes, she is still planning on leaving me. That she thinks it's too late to fix this. It's now December 26th, and the last 2 days have been the worst days of my life. I now fully know what panic attacks are. I can't sleep, drink or eat. I guess she's gotten tired of me saying sorry, and left earlier this afternoon to spend the night at a friend's, leaving me with the kids. I 50% believe that she is telling the truth about this. She offered to take the kids with her. She is an excellent mother, and wouldn't take the kids to her boyfriend's, who is also married, friend's place, where they consummated their affair. WTF kind of friend helps you do something like this? So I have the kids here with me, where I've really been struggling to put on my normal face. I don't think I am a bad person, but I do really suck at nurturing relationships. I am pretty sure I've alienated most of my friends in a similar fashion. I wrote a handwritten note earlier today before she left, and left it on her pillow. I poured my heart into it, something I've never done before. I didn't even know I knew how to do such a thing. I don't think I am a bad person, but I am really, really bad at showing people how much they mean to me. I want to take a few minutes in this letter to tell you just how much that I do love you. I am not sure why I hardly ever said it. Perhaps I just assumed you knew. And that I didn't need to. What I did was I just took your love, and everything else that you did for me for granted. You've given me the most beautiful children anyone could ask for, and you were always there to support me. You took care of me when I was sick and when I was well. There was always something good to eat, clothes to wear, and a warm bed to sleep in. I wish I had done the same for you. And I am not sure I will ever forgive myself for having not. I would never do anything to intentionally hurt you. And it breaks me apart now knowing that's exactly what I was doing. For 10 long years. And I was too blind and ignorant to see it happening. I understand that everything I do now looks so insincere. And too late. Like I am just finally trapped in the headlights. I also understand that I can never expect you to forgive me. I hope a written letter means more than just my spoken words. If I had another chance, I would tell you every day how much I love you. And that I want to be there to hold you when you are sad. Or have just had a shitty day. I would hold your hand when we take a walk. Or massage your feet when you've been standing on them all day. I wouldn't miss an opportunity to clean up in the kitchen or living room so you could relax for a few minutes. Or read a book to the kids. I want to take care of you when you're not feeling well. And laugh with you when you are. I want to be the shoulder you lean your head on when you're sleepy. And to cry on when things aren't alright. You deserve better than I've ever treated you even in the best of times. And now I just want to show you how much you have meant to me. And how I need you. I am so sorry I never have. And I don't have an excuse. I've never been the husband you needed or deserved. Am I done for here? Or do you think there's a chance she'll come back? I know I must look so fake now. But my intentions are 100%. I said I was bad at nurturing relationships. But all I think I needed was that. 1. Swift kick. Is there anything more I can do? Or am I just badgering her at this point? Does a letter like that just make look full of shit? Third story. Wife 22 female of nearly 2 years tells me 23 male spark, passion, etc. has never been in our relationship. How do I react to that? We met when we were 14 when I was playing in an out-of-state baseball tournament and instantly hit it off. She helped me through my parents' divorce and I helped her through her sister's death. We talked often about how much we loved each other and have been together ever since. My friends would often say how I would lock myself in my room to talk to her instead of hanging out with them. We visited each other often until I moved to her state when I was 17. We were married in November of 2012. 4 years after I moved. Things were beyond amazing for the entirety of our relationship except for 3 months when I faced a deep depression. We were very sexual, cuddly, loving and inseparable. Most of our time was spent together. In March of this year I started to notice a lack of affection coming from her end. And I was quite jealous of my best friend, who my wife spends a lot of time with and babies. I don't drink alcohol due to having an alcoholic abusive father. They drink together nearly every night and she usually doesn't come to bed until 3 a.m. at the earliest. I usually do not go with them because I wake up rather early to work out and go to grad school. We talked about our relationship after I told her I was upset and she told me that our relationship had zero passion and that she wasn't happy with me. I asked her to work on it with me, help me make it better and that it wouldn't be easy. She agreed. Since then we have not had any sexual contact, have not cuddled, have not held hands, have had 2 dates despite me asking at least twice a week, and have made out once. We have not gone to bed within 2 hours of each other and she has slept on the couch or in my friend's bed a few times. My birthday was last Monday and all I got was a happy birthday. No kiss, no anything. About 1 month ago she told me she doesn't think we have ever had the spark or passion she's talking about. She thought that loving me was enough to get us through anything. Despite all of that I still love her with all that I am. I cannot imagine being without her. She's been my best friend for nearly 10 years. She's been the anchor in my life for just as long. I keep racking my brain to try and understand what she means, but that spark and passion has been there for me. I don't really know what to do anymore. I love this woman. She's the most beautiful person I know. She's the driving force of why I'm in grad school, to provide for her and our hopefully future children. She makes me better. I want nothing more than to be with her and it seems like it's sliding out from under me. This is my first Reddit post. I don't really have much of anyone else to talk to because my best friend is part of my problem. You guys seem to be pretty accepting and helpful. How do I get the spark or passion back if she hasn't felt it in our entire relationship? Update. This will be long. I apologize. Thanks for your time. I found out on August 18th while on vacation with the 2 of them and a few other friends at a friend's beach house in Florida. My wife was drunk at 11 a.m. and left her phone in the house while she went to lunch with him and I knew I had to take my chance. After reading some crude text and several I love yous I knew it was over. In the hope of not making a scene I called the girl whose house we were staying at and told her what was going on. I packed my stuff and was headed to my car to drive back to Texas. That's when my wife and friend came up the elevator. They saw all of my stuff and asked what was going on. I simply said I am going home, and after further questioning and some quips and laughs from them, blurted out, "I know you guys are ducking." His response, "What the hell are you talking about?" "No, we're not." Her response, instant tears. She walked with me to my car and told me that it started in April, but she knew she wanted to leave me long before that. That I was a wonderful person and that I'll be happier with someone else. That something between us was missing. And that she didn't need me like she used to. All I could respond with was that she made me the happiest I'd ever been. That she was all I ever needed and that I never needed her. I wanted her. As I go back up the elevator, her new boyfriend comes down nearly in tears and asks if I want to talk to him, and all I said was never again. On my way back down the elevator there at the bottom, the homeowner told them they weren't welcome. So in tears he asked me if I would give them a ride back for $300. I laughed. Told him, "Every time you duck her, I hope you know I wish you would have pulled the trigger." He had depression issues and was ready to kill himself, but decided not to because I had offered him a room at my wife and I's house to get him on his feet. And because he was my best friend. I then drove 13 hours straight home. Called everyone I could think of, including both of their parents, who I wouldn't hesitate to call mine. When I got home I was packing my things and saw my wife's journal diary writing notebook. At this point I don't care anymore, so I read it. She has a story written and dated March 14th about their very detailed ex-life. How they would wait for me to go to sleep and duck on our couch in my car and my bed when I wasn't home, in his bed, in our shower, in our garage. Another poem was dated February 2014 detailing how a shadow haunted her, but he was her future and her true love. That all she could taste was lips. This was all before I had ever known she was unhappy. We were still having X regularly up until mid-March. Even had X twice in very early April. So she was lying about all of that too. All of her friends have abandoned her. I now live with her former best friend, the owner of the beach house, and two of her other friends. They've all said their pieces to her and been blocked in the process. I filed for divorce finally on Friday. And my God, does it feel good? I am so relieved to be out of it. I was racking my brain for so long, trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. Turns out I wasn't. Now I am recovering. Slowly. I am sure. But I now have a sudden strong interest in women. Is it just rebound? I am not sure. I am not pushing the issue or anything, and I haven't dated in 9 years. But I'd like to. I know it's still probably too soon. But do I long for it because I've had it and it's now missing? That being said, I am happy to be single. I enjoy just being me currently. But wouldn't mind someone. I actually kind of feel like our relationship has been over for longer than a month. I mean, I was living a lie for the last 7 months. She promised we would work on our marriage while all she was doing was working on him. But I would appreciate any advice about the future and dating after divorce. I am kind of worried actually. I feel like no one will want me for that reason alone. TLDR, found the proof I needed to accept my wife was having an affair with my best friend for the last 7 months. While on vacation. It's over. They're both terrible people. How do I go about dating as a divorced 23-24-year-old when I am ready? Is it as daunting as it seems? Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.